I always thought poker to me was more of a game than a sport. You know, this idea of like trying to sportify it, it's like, you know, sports are when people run for miles or play football or something, you know. And I thought it should be a more friendly atmosphere.
These days, there are many ways to achieve success in the game of poker. For some, it takes years of study and hard work to consistently beat the game. Others, however, have a natural talent that helps them move through the stakes and achieve notoriety with ease. Tom Dwan is definitely a natural talent. Tom's poker career started when he was 17 years old. Given $50 as a birthday present, he deposited on Paradise Poker, one of the first online card rooms that were around. The story goes that Tom chose the alias Durrrr as it was a phrase used at the time between boyhood friends when someone was acting out or being stupid. So he figured it was funny and would probably annoy his opponents at the table. Little did he know then that the nickname would follow him his entire career. Tom's first foray into poker involved purely low-stakes sit-and-goes with a fair bit of success. Later on, he started to mix in some low-stakes cash games as well. This is where he began to shine and he found his groove. By the time Dwan was 18, he had turned his $50 into $15,000, and in the months after his birthday, he had made enough to pay for his college courses, so he enrolled at Boston University studying engineering. Tom mixed the classroom with the online poker world on an even keel, and by the end of his third semester realized that becoming a professional poker player was his calling. He informed his parents he wouldn't be returning to college, and the story of Durrrr was about to blow up. Living in the USA, Dwan was unable to play much live poker, focusing online with accounts on both Full Tilt and PokerStars, where his bankroll was on an upward trajectory. Eventually, finding his niche as a heads-up specialist, he quickly garnered notice from some of the most recognized players of the time. To Tom Dwan, poker results in the live arena, they don't look that impressive, but that's only because he's always focused on cash games, be it in the live or online setting. Durrrr came close to winning a WSOP bracelet once, back in 2010. He got heads up against Simon Watt in a $1,500 no-limit hold'em event, but couldn't quite close the deal. He still took home over $381,000 for his efforts. While Dwan's live performance was relatively modest for a player of his stature, his online presence was anything but. Tom was signed up by Full Tilt Poker and quickly became one of the most recognizable faces in the brand. His popularity was helped by appearances on TV shows like High Stakes Poker and Poker After Dark. Tom Dwan had a very unique and aggressive style of play that was perfect for TV, and despite his young age, he wasn't afraid of playing big pots and mixing it up with the best. Over the years, he played some epic pots with the likes of Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, Doyle Brunson, and many others that the poker community would claim have legend status. But it was online where Durrrr reigned pretty much supreme. When it comes to online cash games, very few people have achieved the level of Tom Dwan. For several years, he was one of the most feared regulars to frequent Full Tilt nosebleed tables. Heads-up poker was Dwan's preferred format, but he didn't avoid ring games either, especially when the action was good. So it came as no surprise that it was Dwan who took up mysterious Solder 1 when he popped up on Full Tilt tables looking for action. This was the start of one of the most epic stories in the history of online poker. Over a few days in November 2009, Durrrr lost over $3 million to a Solder 1. This was a huge upset. Tom lost another $2 million or so to a Solder 1 in the following weeks, bringing the total to over $5 million. Tom's spot as perhaps the best online poker player of the period was shaken, but the young phenom never cared about fame and glory all that much. If anything, the idea that Durrrr could be beaten after all probably helped him get some action from those who wanted to repeat Blum's feat. None of them succeeded, and Tom recouped his losses over time, showing that what happened with a Solder 1 was but a fluke. In recent years, he's been a regular feature in super high-stakes games in Macau, where seven-figure pots seem to be a rule rather than the exception. Dwan has apparently built a very good relationship with Paul Fua. This gave him access to some of the juiciest games on the planet. All in all, despite the likes of Phil Hellmuth predicting he wouldn't be around in a few years' time, Tom has managed to hold his own, and he's very much around, still a big name in the poker world.